Hey, what's going on, everyone? Man, we're back in action, man. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you doing?
Good, man. I have to shout out the Astros, though. It's the first day, so game two today. We did horribly yesterday, but time to redeem ourselves. So go Astros,
Man, I know that makes you happy, bro. So I hope they win. But they're not playing
Absolutely.
the Dodgers, are they?
No, they're not playing the Dodgers this year. It would have been a good rematch, but no, they're playing the Braves, and time to redeem ourselves, man. So
Hope they get it, bro. Hope they get it.
yeah, man. So, man, how you been, man? How's everything going in your life, man? I wanted to get to know. Well, I already know who you are, but I wanted people to get to know who you were and where you are today as well. So, some of the topics we're gonna be talking about, guys, is Jeremy Smith is actually one of the power players in DFW, which is in Dallas, who does over 20 million in production a year. He has a small team that's growing. We're going to be hitting many subjects on not just that, but also on what he does to bring in more business and real estate. So if you're interested in actually learning from one of the best in the industry, that have a pleasure to actually see go from day one to where he's at today, Jeremy is one of the best resources we can actually have. So, man, welcome, man.
Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate that intro, man. And yeah, dude, it's been a minute. I mean, we met what 2015. I was still working at the railroad as a part-time agent. Man, a lot has changed since then, Mickey.
Yeah, man. I remember you were struggling to get out of that at the time. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you started. I want to know the beginnings of where you started before real estate, and then your career that you thought you were going to do, and then what took you to real estate as well. So, go ahead and take the floor.
Sure, man. So actually, this is my second go around at real estate. I got involved back in 2003 in Southern California, and the market crashed in '06. I had been doing it like part time, just kind of casually for a couple of years, and then I got in full time. And about a year after I got into full time, the market crashed, and God was looking out for me, even though I didn't realize it at the time. And I got hired on with BNSF Railway. Went from making six figures in 2006 to 44,000 in 2007. So that was pretty humbling. And I did that for about 10 years, man. It was almost a full 10 years at the railroad. Started off as a conductor, then kind of moved up to a train dispatcher, and then a chief dispatcher here in Fort Worth. I moved from California to Fort Worth in 2012. Decided that it really wasn't the place for me, although it was a great career. I wanted different things for my life. So actually in 2015, I decided I was going to get my license again. Um, got the license, had that experience of failing miserably the first time around, and decided, hey, okay, well, that's the wrong way. Winging it was the wrong way to do it. So I was very intentional the second time around. Got hooked up with Joshua Smith's program where I met you, and took that very seriously. Took training to heart. Got into the training. Took about half of 2015 to just build out systems and processes and get mindset right, and learn how to do a bunch of things before I actually got out there to do them. 2016, I really started turning up the prospecting portion of my business, and that year was amazing. You were kind of there for the ride with me as we became friends closer and closer. But I that year, while working for the railroad, I closed 41 transactions. GCI was a little bit over 250,000, and I had made enough in that 1 year, actually in 10 months, because I resigned from the railroad in October 2nd, 2016. So I had made enough to accomplish my goal of how much I wanted to have in the bank, and leave the railroad and do real estate full time. So that next year, my first full time year in the business, hit 78 transactions closed that year, as a solo agent, and just worked my tail off. Brought my wife in. She started doing transaction coordinating, really managing the back end of the team from then. And it's just been growth, ever since. And there's been bumps and bruises, and lessons learned the hard way still. But we've grown a lot, man. Right now we're up to 5 agents, including myself on the team. I've got an administrative or executive assistant who is actually happens to be my daughter, and she is getting her real estate license at 18. We've got 2 administrative staff, my wife being our what we call our integrator and office manager, and then we've got another gal who's training to be a full-time TC under her. So, and it's been a very interesting journey, to say the least. You know, a lot of lessons learned in the meantime. A lot of awesome people met. A lot of lives changed, not just ours, but the clients that we met. I personally average about 70 transactions a year, slowly stepping out of that production side. So, and it's been awesome, and that's pretty much our roadmap as to what's got us to where we're at today.
Yeah, man. So beyond what you railroad, what was some of the things that you were first thought of about, when you first were in the railroad industry? You thought probably this was going to be your forever job, or maybe you didn't. But what initially when you first joined, did you have any idea that you were going to get into real estate?
You know, man, I didn't, because when I got in there, I was just grateful to have that job. It was paying me regularly. My wife is a stay-at-home mom, so I have 4 kids. Had 3 at the time, then we had one more afterwards. Um, but going from struggling when the market crashed, and inconsistent income and the expenses, and what nobody tells you, everybody says, hey, before you leave your full-time job, have X amount of months. I think at the time they were saying have 6 months of reserves in the bank. But with the market crash like that, I didn't adapt. A lot of people were able to adapt. They saw it coming. They made success. I did not. And what I didn't realize was that 6 months of reserve was only 3 months, really, because you still have business expenses, advertising on listings. So that 6 months of reserve went really, really fast. So once I got hired on the railroad, man, I was super grateful. I kept my license in California. So I think I, at some part of me, always wanted to go back. But no, man, once I got hired on the railroad, I was like all in. I could see myself there forever. I was just super grateful to have that income. And I was a little bit gun shy of the commission thing, because I had such a bad experience with it the first time around. So as I started to promote, in the recession back then in '08, took its toll on the railroad as well.
Yeah.
I got very lucky. A lot of my classmates got laid off, but I kept promoting. So I was able to fend off, a pending layoff. So super grateful. I don't think it was until 2015, really, when I had some experiences at home and some things at the railroad that just kind of solidified for me that that wasn't the right place for me to be culturally, and I needed to get out of there. So I would say from 2007 to 2015, really, I was planning on staying there for, a full career.
Yeah, I mean, and then obviously, you're coming from a salary job to getting benefits, and I mean, it was very comfortable, I'm sure. But as we know, comfortness is the enemy. So that's something that we all were taught in real estate, and as business owners, we all know that now. However, prior to that, I know you also were in the military, correct?
Yeah, yeah, right out of high school, man. I got out of high school. My oldest son was born when my wife and I, at that time was my girlfriend, were still in high school. So the only thing I knew to do was what all the men in my family had done, was enlist in the military. So yeah, as soon as I graduated from high school, I think it was like 3 days short of a month after my 18th birthday, I shipped out to boot camp.
Wow, how was that?
It was an eye opener. I was raised by a single mom, so I didn't really have a dad, or didn't really take well to authority. So the boot camp I went to was for the Navy, so I was in Great Lakes, and kind of getting used to that environment. And I guess no matter what your upbringing is, boot camp is kind of a culture shock. So going there and experiencing the authority and the rooming with other people that are strangers and having to depend on them and be close, and was really an eye opener. For me, it was probably at the time one of the best things I could have done for myself. It was different. It was an experience for sure.
Yeah, bad man. So I'm assuming going, in military, that might have helped you in the especially in the industrial career you're at with the railroad, and then bringing that to the transition into here. Do you think that might have helped you in any case?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the military definitely taught me a lot of things. One, a lot of confidence. I was in aviation in the Navy, so I worked on flight decks and worked on airplanes and had a lot of responsibility as a very young man right out of high school. So it definitely grew my confidence. It taught me some leadership skills, showed me some leadership styles that didn't really work for me. Um, And then it did help me, definitely with my bearing, how I carry myself,
Yep.
communicating with other people, thoroughness. It definitely translates into anything that we do in life. But it did set me up for a lot of success and some good habits after getting out for sure.
Well, that's good, man. Because right now you are definitely crushing it. So I'm definitely been keeping up with you, especially since your year one when I met you. So you're a whole different guy now, man. And as far as not personally, like you're the same person that I met because you haven't changed in that. You've actually improved in your business, and something that I've always admired. So now that you're in real estate, so take me back. Okay, so we met in Joshua Smith boot camp, right? A great boot camp. In case you guys haven't been to or don't have a coach, highly recommend Joshua Smith boot camp. It really transforms your life and business, and the connections you have there is just insane. As you can see, me and Jeremy, one of my best friends now, a great guy, and then obviously a great entrepreneur. Met him through that camp. However, when I met you there, what got you into the I guess the mindset that you were? What changed? Like what got you there?
Man, I think what I didn't know at that time that I learned after, and it seems like it's so obvious, was that what we put in our minds has an impact on what we do in life, like how we look at things, how we respond to things, and our level of activity, or how we gauge our level of activity or our level of obsession about any certain thing. So one thing that I remember this so clearly in the boot camp, Joshua Smith says, "Hey, if you're doing self development, stop it for these next 90 days." I don't know if he still does that, but he said that. I think we're in like the second boot camp. So I was like, "Man, what is self development? I don't even know what that was." Like, I thought that was counseling. Like, I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm not seeing a counselor right now. Maybe I should." But so just really learning what self development was, and really buying into the concept that there are people out there, subjects out there that can speak to us and to help us change our mindset, right? Where how important mindset actually is. And so, honestly, I mean, I stopped listening to certain types of music, or music with certain messages, rather. Stop watching the news, cut out negativity, and that's in all forms, right? Whether it was something that I was listening to or watching or reading, or somebody, right, that was constantly pouring negativity into my life and just putting some distance there. The mindset became a really big factor in in just focusing and staying positive, and gaining confidence, and gaining the, I guess, a mindset of, hey, look, if somebody else can do it, although I have not done all of these things and I don't have all of these things, I can acquire them, right? Even though I don't have a college degree, or maybe my parents didn't teach me this, or whatever the excuse is, learning that those excuses are just that, excuses. And the only thing stopping us from reaching our goals or creating anything that we want to create is really our mindset. So I think that's probably
Absolutely.
the biggest change.
No, man, and that's 100% true. A dirty mind, and I don't mean that in the more respectful way. It's not going to get you into the purity of business. So that's one of the things that Joshua Smith and that we've learned, and many other mentors are saying the same exact thing, coaches. But it all starts in the mind. Now, I find that interesting that where you're at now, you literally did that just by just following simple steps that Josh taught us from that camp. Now, there's a ton of information that we do and do not use. Could you share some of the things that you feel that have helped you grow to your business where you're at today, selling over 20 million a year, and just iconing, which is our biggest award at EXP every single year since you've been here?
Yeah, man. So going off of that experience that I had the first time in real estate, where I failed out of the business, so it taught me a lot, and I think that happened for a reason, because I would not be in the mindset or where I'm at today without that experience. And I try to pass that on to others, in the sense of, we do things, and in real estate, it's very easily to be so casual with the business, right? Where we get our license and our only focus is to go out there and just get business. Like, that's all we're focused on. And that's good. But what we really should focus on first is learning how to be a master at the business. So that was probably one of the things that made the biggest difference for me, was knowing that the last time how I ran my business, yeah, it was okay to go out there and get business. I was good at that. Connecting with people, getting people to, know me, like me, and trust me was the easy part. I was natural there. But really where I had to do what I had to do differently was learn every aspect of the business. So now I can go out there and be confident and repeat what I'm doing over and over and over again. So my business becomes predictable in the sense of my contract forms, knowing those, right? So when we start off in real estate, we don't have experience. So lack of experience means also a lack of confidence. But where you can gain confidence quickly without the experience is by knowledge. How do you gain knowledge? Well, that's by learning your stuff, right? So learning your 1-to-4 contract, learning your IABS, your buyer rep, your listing agreement, knowing how to explain these things and be confident. And then every time you go out there and you explain it and you say to yourself, oh man, I did a good job there. Like I really explained that well. You get a little bit proud of yourself and you get a win. So the more wins that we stack, the more confident we get. So knowing what I know based off of that failure experience really was probably one of the biggest things. Then the mindset, and then just going out there and creating. One thing that really stuck with me was the massive action produces massive results, right? And so there became a point where, we goal set and all that stuff, but I just abandoned the number in the sense where I set goals, but then my main focus every single day was how many appointments can I set today? Not how many do I need to set today, because I knew that number, right? I knew how many I needed to set this week in order to hit this goal. But then I was like, okay, well, yeah, that's the minimum, but how many can I? And then it became a challenge. Like, okay, let me go out here and set, how many appointments will my schedule allow? And being in the railroad at the time, I knew exactly how many hours I had to work with. And so I tried to fill all of those hours with appointments or studying or practicing. Like every moment was filled with something that was going to further my agenda, in the sense of my agenda was to build my business and leave the railroad. So
I have a question. So as far as like what you just said earlier, you have an agenda, and in order for you to have that, you have to have the plan so you can know how to execute that agenda. So walk us through your routine as far as the beginning, not today, because you remember the average agent sells 5 to 6 homes a year. So your language is like, hieroglyphics to them. It's so they're getting to that stage right now.
right.
If you were to break down what were some of the most essential things you're doing that I guess just dumbify it for us, what will you do today that today, if you were to start all over today, that would give you more business?
Yeah. So gonna go back to mindset. I mean, that is always it, because I think the reason why some of those agents are stuck on those numbers is because they have limiting beliefs. So mindset is always number one. That's your foundation. Knowing your stuff, set time aside to practice your buyer consultation, your listing presentation. Know those things, but to increase your productivity, you have to be a master of your schedule. So you've got to know that, without a shadow of a doubt, you're prospecting. Those prospecting times have to be on your calendar, and they've got to be non-negotiable times. So I had an agent one time during his prospecting time. He's like, "Oh, I got to go meet a plumber at this property." No, like that's a no, because that now is taken from your prospecting, and without your prospecting, you're not going to get new clients. You shouldn't be meeting that plumber during your prospecting time, or if you do, you need to replace it. You need to replace that time with prospecting later on the day. So mindset, knowledge, and owning their schedule, and making sure that they're spending their time prospecting, and like Josh says, stick to the process, and detach from the outcome, because it's going to take a while for those things to start firing. But when they do, you're going to create so much momentum by stacking your wins, and it's going to be unstoppable. And now you're going to be worrying about, hey, do I have enough time in the day because I'm so busy? And that's a good problem to have. But definitely those three things: mindset, knowledge, and the schedule, and sticking to it and honoring it every single day.
Yeah, because I feel a lot of us do not honor that system. We're having we're having too much distractions or unorganization. I mean, life always, comes in every single day, and it happens. But one of the things that I think that we need to do in this industry is we need to have a set time to do certain things that we said we were going to do. A lot of us put it in the calendar or don't put it at all. So one of the things we learned from Joshua Smith in our training was the 60-90 rule. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
You
Still
remember
use.
that?
Yeah, I still
Yeah.
use.
So explain to us how you use that method, because I use it to this very day.
Yeah, so my schedule is templated pretty much. I mean, every day for here into infinity is accounted for. Um, so my schedule, on a typical day, it hasn't been like this. I've been dealing with some injuries, but typical day is 4 a.m. wake up, gym at 5, home by 6:30, and then my day starts. The next 60 minutes are checking emails, responding to emails. Then I get into prospecting at 7:45, making expired phone calls, calling agents, prospecting for the team, whatever that may look like. And then every 60 minutes to 90 minutes, I'm rotating between those activities that are going to be prospecting or dealing with contracts, and then administrative stuff. So you got to, put other things in there, but I think you should have at least 3 hours a day of prospecting. And really it's got to align with your goals, right? Not everybody's goal is to go out there and do $20 million worth of production, but your prospecting time needs to align with your goals.
Exactly. And that's very important because obviously if you're content with 5 million, 6 million, obviously, the amount of hours he's doing is not going to be relevant to you. But he had big, huge goals. Some people just want to get by, some people just don't want to do that much or just medium amount. I remember somebody told me once, if you want to get paid as a $200,000 producer, and this is like when before I was at EXP, I was at KW. They said you have to put the work in like someone that works those $200,000 a year, and that resonated a lot with me because a lot of people want to make 100,000 a year or 200,000 or 500, and they're doing the work effort of a $50,000 work a year employee. And that's one of the main things that I think that we differentiate ourselves from everyone else is we do that. We do the work. While we're not perfect, there's a lot of things that we are improving. So kudos to you, man, on that, because you're definitely leading by example. Now prior to where you're at now at EXP, you were at Remax, right? Did you go were you anywhere else before that?
No, not the second time around. Once I got my license in Texas, I went straight to Remax. It was like the big Remax office by my house. And then I came over to EXP.
Cool. And okay, so how did you like Remax, and what made you go to Remax versus, like, let's just say KW?
Man, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I went there because it was close. I guess probably one of the closest brokerages to my house, but that wasn't my main thing. Again, going back to my failed attempt back in early 2000 in California, I knew that training was important, and so when I was interviewing brokerages, this brokerage was pretty high on training. They were all about that, so I thought that was awesome. They had a lender in-house. They had a title company in-house that, rented space inside the building, so you could get training from them as well. I thought that was good. The office was nice. They had common areas for agents to work, and they have offices that you could rent. But what I didn't realize about the training, and I hope this has changed. I know that office is not there anymore, but what I think to be true industry wide is that they were hiring agents to do the training that they really weren't producing. Right. So I realized that pretty quick. I'm like, hey, how come they're always here? Like, how are you guys doing on production? And it was the fact that that these agents were basically, for lack of a better term, they were not doing what they wanted to do in real estate. They were not earning the income that they wanted, so they went to an hourly position with their license, where they were now teaching. But I find a fundamental issue with that, because I don't need to learn from somebody that's not making it, right? So I want to learn from people who are actually out there doing what I want to do. So that's why I started researching it, and I ended up finding Josh.
Yeah, it was I found Josh at and this sounds like an interview we're just talking about Josh. But he really was a game changer for us. So that's the reason why we're out of all the other interviews I've done, this is like Josh. We literally, he changed our life.
Yeah.
I found him because I didn't know how to, like you said earlier, I didn't know how to do a proper open house. So I Googled on YouTube how to do an open house. And on page 4, because he was barely starting those videos, there goes some dude with a hat. It's like how to do he sounds like a young guy. He's like he spoke my language. He resonated with me versus the old realtors and the unrealistic realtors that they didn't believe that times are changing. And he was saying this thing called mega open house. You got to do mega open houses, and he just kept emphasizing what it was and how you should do it. And I did it, and it worked. And the first time I did it, it worked. I followed instructions, and it worked.
Yeah.
And then my first commission check went to him actually for boot camp.
Nice.
That was my first ever expense, and it was so hard to do because I was definitely 3 or 4 months I was being trained by I was a Keller Williams, and not everybody was a big producer. Majority of the people that were teaching classes hardly sold real estate to this very day. I don't know if I can't say that I'm not there, but I hope it changed too. But at the time at KW, where I was from, they did not have big producers where it's life-changing, information. And just one video, man, I saw it, and it changed like my aspects of like all my failed open houses, and this one's kicking ass. It's like, it's insane. Yeah. So much kudos to you on that for following through, man. But so let me go back. Okay, so I'm getting off topic like I always do, part of my ADD. But so you were Remax. You're happy, right? What made you change? Like, why are you here? What made you change? Yeah, what made you change?
Yeah, great question, man. So kind of going back to what you said about you took your commission check and you invested it in yourself, right? Basically, you took a program that you thought it was hard. It was your commission check. I did something similar where I had $2,000 in my bank account. I mean, that's exactly how much I had in the bank. That was my savings. That's for a family of 6. Right? That was our savings. So the office was doing training, and they think they were doing Brian Buffini. But like you, I took a risk, and I spent half of my savings on a training program. So fast forward, to 2017, and I was doing taxes and realized how much money and commissions I had paid to Remax. And I kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, and I got what some people call stinking thinking, right? So I was thinking, well, where can I go and save more money, right? I think it was like $27,000 I had paid to them that year, and I wanted to save money, so I started looking around at different brokerages. And you had talked to me about EXP, and I found a brokerage that I could go to and save a lot of money, like 14 grand a year. By going to that brokerage. But then something like, and I think it's that mindset, right? We talk about mindset. So I think it's that mindset that said, hey, take a chance on yourself. Why are you playing it so safe? Right. So I hit you up. I'm like, hey, tell me more. Right? Tell me more about EXP. And then I did a bunch of research. I hit up agents all over the country and talk to them, agents that were with EXP, agents that were previously with EXP, big agents, small agents. I did a lot of research. And what I discovered was that just like my decision to take a chance on myself and invest half of my savings into a training program that later would just change my life by implementing what I learned, I knew that EXP was something different, and that it provided some opportunities that nowhere else did. If I went to the brokerage, it was going to save me $14,000 a year. That was going to be the extent of my reward for making the change. Whereas if I went somewhere that gave me opportunities, whether I use them or not, it's irrelevant, but gave me opportunities to earn more money that was limitless. Well, now I'm not just limited to a $14,000 savings, but I am open to unlimited amount of earnings. And so that to me just made more sense in the fact that I'm going to bank on myself, right? I'm not going to have a negative mindset, as a fear mindset that I'm not going to make enough, so I need to save a bunch. I'm going to go ahead and bet on myself and say, you know what? Not only am I going to make what I'm making here at Remax, but I'm going to make a lot more. And so that was my mindset, and that's why I made the move to EXP.
Yeah, it had to be tough too, right? Because you said you were looking to save money at the
Mhm.
time, and when you actually compare where and that's what I was telling you. Like this is like an investment. You buy a flip like a home,
Yeah,
and you don't get paid right away. This is things that happen later on.
yeah.
It's not like it's an overnight, over month, and not even a year thing for especially for real estate. But I told you, and I'm glad you're still here. Is it? I believe you're almost 4, right? 4 years here.
Going on 4. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
I
going on
count
4.
time. I'll hit my 4-year anniversary next March. Um, and man, I wish I would have done it earlier. Everybody says that though, right? Everybody comes over and says, "I wish I would have done this earlier."
Yeah, I
You
do
know,
too,
it's
man. It would have been a
really
different
awesome
story.
to be able to see it. You know, to open my mind up. And it's not even that it wasn't there. Like everything was there. I just was being, for lack of a better word, stubborn. You know,
Yep.
and not open to really exploring it. Um, yeah, so I kicked myself in the butt because a year earlier it would have been what, 3,000 agents. I think when I joined there was like 6 or 7,000.
Yeah, it would, and it moved so quick, right? So there's no way we would have known that. But I'm glad we still were pretty early adopters of this model, and the growth we've seen is insane. But and again, this is not just about EXP, guys. We're just pretty much just talking about things that he's happy with and what's changed his life. But the other thing is obviously right now the student, which is him. Now he was a student. Now we always will be, but he now has a program that he has for you guys that I want him to talk about, and it's actually pretty good. So I haven't heard much, but I know it's pretty good. So tell me about it.
Yeah, for sure, man. And yeah, definitely always a student, man. I still have coaches. I have mentors. My coaches are a little bit more expensive now than they are um, than they were before, but well worth it. I think that's something that um, a lot of agents are not connected with in the mindset of that continual coaching. So, and the way I put it to agents that I talk to is that even the best, Michael Jordan, up until the point he retired, had a coach, right? The GOAT, arguably, right? The GOAT of all times in basketball and in any sport, they have a coach that can see things that they can't, that can set them straight, get them back on course, understand their goals, and help them go out there and accomplish their goals. It is super important to have. So I still have coaches, still a student, but now it's a different mindset, right? So now my coaching is so that I can learn and bring back and give and teach others. So I've got a coaching program out there. Just started it. It's not real serious, but it's a lot of great content. Some of the content, a lot of it that I use to train agents on my team. The website is btlrealestatetraining.com. BTL stands for Be the Light, and that's part of our mission statement. So on there, there's a listing mastery course that people can sign up for, and it'll walk you through all the steps. Right now, we've got a promo on the site where agents can for free take step 1 of that listing mastery course just to see what it's about, and that is getting ready for the listing. Like, what do you need? What do you need to do to prepare for the listing? Of the 70 to 80 homes a year that I sell, 50 of them are listings. So I'm very, very well versed in how to prepare, how to show up, how to compete with other agents and still close the deal without reducing your commission. And being one of the most expensive agents that they interview and still get the business. And so that's what I'm passing on, is how agents can go out there and do that. So on the website, under the courses, they can sign up for free, and there's the full course for $4.99.
Absolutely. So he has a course that obviously, especially the first part where a lot of people are struggling. So definitely take advantage of that, guys, because getting the listings one of the most complicated things that you're gonna have to master. And if he's giving it out for free, man, that's a win-win. So definitely go check it out. Down there in the banner, you're gonna see his link there. And obviously, you can always hit me up or Jeremy Smith for more info as well. Now, I know you also have a team that we spoke about, the Smith team, and tell me, you told me a little bit about that, but tell me, are you guys currently looking for more people, or what's going on with that? Are you trying to grow the team?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. We are definitely in growth mode. Some of the coaching that we have going on right now is for that purposely. We've got some coaching from, I mean, literally the top teams in the country. They're team leaders, they're integrators. We're partnered with them and getting some very high level coaching on that, so we can grow our team out the right way. Right now, we've got, including myself, 6 agents. and 2 admin staff. We are definitely growing this team. We are looking for agents that are motivated, that are committed. We do have opportunities. We actually are just negotiating a lease on a building out here in Keller, Texas, where we were able to house a team and really build that culture up. The culture is something that's really the most important for us. We know that not every single agent out there is going to be a culture fit for us or us for them, but we are definitely looking for agents that are willing to take the time to learn how to do the job, change the industry or change the reputation of the industry, at least here in our area, where real estate agents are kind of put on the same level as used car salesmen, and we all know what people think of them. So
Yeah.
our goal is to train agents up so that they can reach whatever goals that they make, do it in an environment that is super conducive to growth and a good lifestyle, and also change up this industry, change up the reputation that we have, so that people don't look at us. Our goal is, one, to, as a team, to dominate the DFW marketplace and to have such a good reputation that even when other agents see that, hey, we got an agent we're working with, he's with the Smith team or she's with the Smith team, they're like, oh yeah, cool, we're excited to work with them. That's a good team. I win in multiple offers just because agents like to work with us. So we want every agent on our team to have that experience. So, long answer to a short question: yes, we're hiring. Come on.
Okay, so his info is here is info at smithteamdfw.com. And also, just so they can get a taste, what can they expect as a buyer agent that you're looking for? What can they expect from you as team leader to bring the value to them on why they should join your team?
Great questions. Well, first thing that all the agents want are leads, right? So we got plenty of leads. Our agents are averaging about 30 to 40 leads a month per agent. Accountability is huge. Part of my job as a team lead is to support the agents and whatever their goal is, and to keep them on track. But accountability works both ways, right? So we want to make sure that the agents on our team also know that they can hold us accountable. And we have what we call an IDS form. So um, we meet every day pretty much. There's Zoom meetings right now. When we get our office space, there will be a combination of Zoom and in person. And so Monday meetings are for accountability. It's about a 20-minute check-in. And that's just about, hey, how did your week go last week? Did you reach your goals? If you did, let's celebrate that win. If not, let's identify what got in the way and let's figure out ways that we can fix that. Or do we need to reevaluate and adjust that goal so that you can get back onto winning? It's not about, hey, did you do this or did you not? The thing is, let's stack those wins, right? Well, let's figure out what we need to do so that you can get wins. And the more wins you get, the more confident you're going to be and the more hungry you're going to be for more wins. And it just helps you to grow. So Tuesdays are our team meetings. Wednesdays, that's where we go over our IDS forms, where we talk about accountability, where agents can say, hey, look, we want to talk about this, or we want to talk about that, or we think the operations team needs to get better here, or we think, our training needs to get better there. And we explore those things and address them accordingly. Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, we have team huddles, and then Fridays, we have training. So
What's that team huddle? What do you do there? Sorry to
So team
interrupt.
huddles are quick, dude. They're like a 15-minute call. We get on and it's basically a check-in, and we all go. Everybody has a turn, and we have pretty much 100% attendance on these things, not because they're mandatory, but because they're beneficial. So, and they're not mandatory. So it's, hey, 9 a.m. We all get on. All right, who wants to start? How was yesterday? Was yesterday a win, or were there some obstacles in the day? And then, okay, well, what do you got planned for today? How can we support you? And everybody goes. Today was a little bit different. Today was like, hey, what are you grateful for today? What is something that you're grateful for, and what is a recent win that you have? Because we just want to talk about positivity. And last Friday we had everybody over at the house and we did our goal setting for 2022. We did dream boards. We're reading books together right now. We're reading a book called The Energy Bus. Highly recommend it. It's my second time reading it, and it's got everybody pretty pumped up right now about their energy. So a lot of collaboration on our team. It's like a family. We try to keep it tight as we grow. We want to keep that culture, where agents feel like they've got a voice, they've got a safe place, and they've got somebody helping them, pushing to reach their goals.
So leads, systems, accountability, culture, and obviously family, which it sounds like those are some of the things that he's offering, guys. So definitely hit up Jeremy if you're in a DFW area or Dallas area, and he is the man to go to. Now, before we wrap this up, because we could talk all day, and I do want to know. So as far as for the individual agent goes, right? Um, the best things that you could give them advice on. What do you think? What do you think works today that didn't work before that people are still doing? Because I'm noticing there's a lot of stuff that people are still doing from 5 years ago that's not working today. Now, do you think, for example, like social media still works? Do you think like open houses work? What do you think?
Yeah, man. So it's funny that you asked that because every conference I've been to, it seems like somebody's killing it with a different thing. So I'm going to say that everything works, but it only works to the extent that you do it.
Yep.
So the key is consistency. Whether or not you're doing open houses, whether or not you're doing phone calls, expire calls, door knocking, social media, all of it works. It just doesn't work if you don't work it right. So my advice is to commit to mastery. You know, they have that word that people use, right? There's all kinds of phrases about this word obsession, right? And is it good or is it bad? Where I think it can be both. But if obsessed about mastering something or dominating your space in something, then you'll just be dominated because somebody's going to be obsessed about that, right? And it doesn't mean that you have to be obsessed where that's all you think about and that's all you do. You can be obsessed about hitting 12 transactions a year, just as somebody could be obsessed about hitting 100 transactions a year. And you can both reach your goals. Your levels of activity are going to be different, but if you're obsessed about it, you're going to hit it. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's really about focusing on a few things, being great at them, being consistent with them, and not just doing them, but learning how to do them right. Like you mentioned, the open house, right? You can do open houses all day. I've seen agents do open houses and they're like, I got to walk through 4 rooms before I figure out where their agent is,
Hmm.
you know, and then there they are in the back. Hey, how are you? Welcome. Thanks for coming by. See you later. Well, it's super ineffective and a waste of time, right? So learn how to do it, you know, learn how to be an expert in your field. And like any industry, real estate industry rewards excellence. You see
Yeah.
these top producers and you ask them about contract forms, they'll be able to explain them to you, you know, but then you ask the agent that's, you know, struggling about a contract form, and chances are they're probably going to struggle to tell you about it. Right. So your success is based off of the level of commitment you have to mastering whatever it is that you're doing. And that's why mastery is so important, right? Mastery is huge when you think about success. So consistency, and the appropriate level of action to reach whatever your goal is. And like Grant Cardone says, we always underestimate the amount of action needed to hit our goals. So learn that, you know, figure it out. It may take a while. You may have some losses, but stick with it and figure out the level of action you need to take and be consistent at doing it and be obsessed with hitting whatever your goal is and get help. You know, don't be one thing that I see a lot in this industry is egos, and egos step on everybody's toes. You know, you
Yep.
you don't seek help because of your ego, or you want to feel like you know everything, and maybe you're embarrassed to show that you don't know some things. But the reality is we all were there, right? We all were there. We all don't know everything, and that's why if you can admit that you don't know everything and be okay with not knowing everything and going out there and getting the help and actually listening and implementing what you learn, taking the massive action or the appropriate amount of massive action and being consistent and having your mindset in the right place, there's no way you can lose. It's not having all of the ingredients for success as you bake your success cake is what's going to cause that cake to not rise when you put it in the oven.
Man, that was beautifully put, man. And the reason I say that is because if somebody from out of your city is ever interested in maybe collaborating with you or wants more of the Jeremy secret, the Jeremy Smith secret, can they also contact you for help?
Certainly. Absolutely, man. I've got agents that I mentor. I've got one in New York. I've got people in Alabama, North Carolina, St. Louis, California, all over the place. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, the great thing
Absolutely.
about real estate is some things are market specific, but the fundamentals are industry wide. So absolutely, I'm willing to help anybody as I transition to that not producing team leader. I definitely have more capacity to mentor, coach, and help anybody who needs it.
So you heard it, folks, from Jeremy Smith. If you guys need any help in EXP or not at EXP, especially because a lot of people from out of the brokerage might think that, oh, he's not going to help me because he's not. I'm not at EXP. So no, if we don't care what part of the country you're from or even country at this point, contact Jeremy. And like I said, the fundamentals are international. I mean, selling is selling, and what he knows is, like he said earlier, are by top coaches that are just the best and the best. So definitely get a contact with them, man. But man, I appreciate your time, man. And I think we went over our time, but man, it was awesome talking to you and getting to kind of pick your brain. And I'm just here, just sitting here, and I'm just learning everything from you and people like yourself that are just at the top of their game. So I feel like I'm taking advantage of you. Just give me your time. So thank you, man, for all you do and for giving me time of your day for this, man.
Hey, anytime, brother. Much love. I appreciate you for. If it wasn't for you, I would have never made this move to this brokerage. And as you know, it's been extremely life changing for me and for my family. So I appreciate you. I owe you a debt for that. So anytime, brother, I'm here for
All
you.
right, man. Well, guys, it was a pleasure, obviously, talking with Jeremy. And man, hopefully you guys learned some stuff. So till next time, we see you guys later. Bye.
Peace.